I'm Kelly Carter, and this is Another Act. Mykelti Williamson hung up his football cleats and basketball shoes to pursue a career in acting at the age of 18. This proved to be a wise redirection as it led to a 3-decade-long career in entertainment with performances in standout films like Forrest Gump and Waiting to Exhale. Now he's back on the small screen as the antagonist of the latest season of Law & Order Organized Crime, the drug kingpin Preston Webb. Here's what he has to say about building bonds in the industry, his experience directing, and so much more. Mykelti, welcome to the show. You know, when I think about the entirety of your career, you really jump into characters that stick with us. What do you look for in a script that makes you say, I'm going to do this? Because whatever you have been doing has been working, sir.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I would be remiss if I didn't say how proud I am of you. You know, Michigan State, you've been out here doing it. Now you're like the writer. I'm like, child, if you don't come on, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing because it's phenomenal. It's inspiring so many people. I look up, see you. Anytime I see some more chocolate, I'm like, what is this? So, you know, I'm digging it. But I'll just say that I'm really blessed to be able to do what I do. And what I look for in characters is there's a few things. I look for the humanity in the character, and I look for the character's journey and the character's purpose. So those are the three things I look for. But some people talk about drama. Drama is third because there's humanity first, and then there's the journey and the purpose that are neck and neck for second, and then drama's third, because there's a lot of stuff that was dramatic, but it brought harm to people. And so my whole thing is to do no harm. Even if I play a villain, it's important for me to show you that no one's all good, no one is all bad. And so that's what I look for, is opportunities to collaborate with people who are like-minded. Because if you don't, then you end up just kind of fighting and doing it the way that you know won't embarrass your people, and then people go away and they're not happy with each other. So I'm just prayerfully selective about things that I do, and I'm really happy that it's been helping.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, what do you attribute the key to your consistency to? What's been that golden nugget or golden rule for you?
The most important factor is relationships. Relationships with whatever your faith process is, and relationship with people. And the best way to honor the creator is to honor the people around you and not belittle, make them feel small, none of that kind of stuff. But people are not my source. So I don't put pressure on people. I have people that work for me to help me. But if they can't pull off something they thought they could pull off, I'm not going to be upset at that. I'm like, thanks. I appreciate you trying. You know, if you didn't get out of the bed and just thought about it, that's one thing. But it comes down to relationships and how well you take care of somebody else's opportunity. You know, when people raise money for certain things, you don't go in there half-baked and just walk through it with attitude. You better bring some humanity. You better bring some truth, some purpose. You know what I'm saying? And take the audience on a real journey and respect what the word entertainment means.
So to that, I want to sit there and talk about relationships for a little bit. You know, I want to hear more about your relationship with Dick Wolf from your early days of Hill Street Blues, and now it feels like it's come very full circle. Talk to me about that relationship and how it's even been instrumental in the trajectory of your career.
People who are in a position like a Dick Wolf, this man doesn't have to work anymore if he so chooses, right? You know, and Dick is this kind of guy. I was at a Laker game at a restaurant nearby, downtown LA, with some friends, and Dick Wolf heard I was there and found me at my table to come say hello, and I hadn't seen him in years. So that's the kind of person he is. He's not above anybody, you know? And one of his favorite sayings is that we're all really fortunate, so don't F it up. That's one of Dick Wolf's quotes. And he does it with humor, But you know, you want to be responsible with a gift that you have. And Dick is loyal, and I love him. I'd do anything in the world for him. And he keeps me employed as a director when I'm available. And then he has me circle back and bring a character to one of his franchise entities. And that really means a lot to me too, that he trusts me that way, you know?
Yeah, talk to me about being a director and actor at the same time. How does one inform the other?
They're similar. This is the process. It's the highest form of collaborative art in the world. The writer runs the lap and takes it as far as they can take the script, right? Then the writer teams up with a director and a cast of actors and a crew and so on, and then they run the next lap. And then the director takes that project with the editor and they run the next lap. And then they hand it off to the producer who has final say, or the studio, and they run the final lap by testing it, audience testing, and so forth. So it's collaborative art. So when you run your lap, just run your lap the strongest you possibly can. And that's all you're responsible for. You know what I mean? Sometimes movies make it, sometimes they don't, but just bring truth and humanity to it. And you really never fail, because people rediscover those projects later, like on television or cable or streaming or some kind of way, but it'll always inform and feed the soul. And that's the ultimate for me.
Was that always part of the plan for you to direct to and get behind the camera?
Yeah, I actually went to film school. I used to run a production house, a rental house rather, in San Jose, California. And my mentor, I wanted to be a cinematographer director who operates the camera and directs. And that's where my training is in lighting and all that stuff, and as well as training as an actor. So it's something I've always wanted to do, because I know that no one can tell our stories like we do, Kelly. No one. And I feel very passionate about that. I feel like you and I are gatekeepers, because we have to be responsible for the image that's portrayed in the media about us, you know, because that informs people who may not really know any of us, and they perceive that we're wired a certain way. And so for me, my journey has been constantly evolving. There are things that I explain up front that I'm not willing to do, like victimize women, children, elderly people, animals. I'm just not down with that kind of stuff. And so every now and then there's like trickery where somebody will have you fire a gun off camera, and then they put a dog sound in it, like you shot a dog. And for me, I call those people up immediately and go, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know, because you know that's rare that there's that level of trickery, but it you know, it pops up every now and then, and it's because people think they're making the story better, but I don't think it does. I just don't do harm to animals like that.
Having that moral compass obviously is very important to you. How does this current role on Law and Order, organized crime, align with where you are with that right now?
I'm really happy you asked that question, because I'm playing a gentleman who is a happily married person. Jennifer Beals plays my wife. Yeah. She's awesome. And pardon me, let me shut that down. And so I'm sorry. You're gonna get this live. Hold on. If I don't answer this, my mom. Hey, Mom.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you, sweetheart. Listen, listen. I put you on the air live. I'm in an interview, so I have to call you back. Okay.
I just wanted to have happy birthday.
Okay, I love you. Talk to you later. Okay, bye.
That is so sweet.
You got to answer Mom's phone call. No apologies necessary at all. I promise.
Mama's still the boss. You see that, right?
My mom has probably been trying to call me too since we've been talking, and I'm gonna get it because I didn't answer, so I totally understand.
But humanity for me is everything. I actually am always in consideration of making certain that we chip away and stomp when we can those birth of a nation images that continue to be perpetrated. Now, this character is involved in the underworld, but he has aspirations of building the next Amazon. And he wants to right his wrongs. So you see that Jennifer Beals and I, this couple, the Webb family, we're building infrastructure, we're building hospitals, schools, mental health clinics, all kinds of clinics to offset the harm that we know that we're causing. And eventually we're going to flip that whole thing if we don't meet our demise beforehand and go legit and come up with the next Amazon or whatever that is. And so that's the journey. And the ticking clock is, will they make it? And so that's what we do every week on the show. But, no one's all good. No one's all bad, and we're just flawed human beings. That's all.
No, of course. And, I think it's important to see flawed Black characters because oftentimes it's one extreme or the other. To that, what made you say yes to Preston?
First and foremost, it's in the Dick Wolf world. Yeah. And I actually had a conversation with the then head writer, Eileen Shaken, right? And so Eileen and I had a conversation. There were things that I bumped on and we talked it through and we laid out an entire journey. And I was very clear about what I will do and won't do because I'm never unkind, but I explained on that Zoom call that you'll find that I'm uncooperative. I'll say these words, but you won't like it and you're going to have to reshoot it. And I know you are. You know what I'm saying? Because you shouldn't be representing people like that in the first place. And Eileen was a class act. She was phenomenal. Unfortunately, halfway through my arc at the end of this season, Eileen transitioned to another place and another position. But we've been burning the candle, trying to keep the bar raised, but there's only one Eileen. So we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, has this idea and really this philosophy of bringing certain characters to life ever been compromised or prevented you from working?
There was a period where I had to slow down because when I did Forrest Gump, actually it really hurt my career initially because people thought they found a brother with a lip like that in the South. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But being a transformative character actor, it took people a while to catch on. So I hired a publicist to get my real face out there next to Bubba Blue's face so people could say, oh, yes, yeah, I've seen this cat. And so the money I made on Gump initially, I ended up reinvesting in saving my career and getting my face back out there. So that was a slowdown period. Another period for me was I couldn't figure out what was going on in my life, why things weren't working. And, I had my agents, I didn't have the best agents at the time, I do now. But at the time I was like, what is going on? And so I asked my wife one day, I said, are we tithing? And she said, we can't afford to. So I said, what? That's what it is, right? Because there's principles we live by that we can have faith in and they actually work. And so we reversed that situation. And within 2 weeks, I was working and haven't stopped working since by maintaining principles that I know work. You know what I mean? Because you can't do what you and I do. You can't do that by yourself. Yeah, no. You're going to need an extra little boost in your tank. You know what I mean? And it's, I don't really care where you get it from, but you're going to have to count on something, a little extra something. Yeah.
Yeah, a little extra something. We also have another little extra something that we're going to talk about. You're an athlete because you played football, and at some point, you made the choice that acting was the road that you wanted to go down and not sports. What happened there?
Well, longevity. There were retired athletes at my elementary school, and there were actors who came to my elementary school. There was a gentleman named Woody Strode, the late Woody Strode, actor. And Woody Strode came to my school, and I got a chance to talk to him when I was a kid. And then there are other athletes. Woody was a former athlete turned actor, and he talked about making a decision toward longevity. And then when I started studying acting, I realized having a character actor journey would sustain my career far longer because I could hide for a period of years and no one would notice me in public. I mean, I'm at a place now where I really can't hide anymore, but for years I was able to hide and not have any issues or problems, So, sorry. Yeah, there's a hotline today. So, yeah, don't be messing me up. I'm with Kelly. You better stop. Yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, go. So, taking the character actor journey, which is what my teachers influenced me to do, has really helped me tremendously.
You know, it's so interesting to hear you say that you made a conscious choice to be a character actor so that you could hide. And then I would imagine probably the biggest role of your career, at least at that point, with Forrest Gump. And you did such a great job that people didn't even know it was you. So you reinvested to let people know that it was in fact you. Talk to me about that, because that sounds like a bit of a mind scramble, you know, but something that obviously was very important for you to put out there.
Yeah. Um, it's I perceive the kind of work that I do and the kind of work you do as our ministry. Some people think a ministry, you have to be in a pulpit. No, there's some people who don't need to be in the pulpit that are making a bad name for churches and other organizations around the world because they misunderstood what their ministry purpose was. Mine is storytelling, and you're fulfilling yours. I see what you're doing. You know, that's why I told you I'm so proud of you, because you're on point. You're fulfilling your purpose. And we're fortunate to find that purpose. But the reason I felt it was necessary to invest in myself is because I wasn't done yet. And people try to put you in a box because it's simpler for them to put actors in a category, but I didn't want to be in a category because as an athlete, I would move around and play different positions with football, basketball. I would play different positions because of the versatility that my coach saw in each and our coaches saw in each and every one of us. Now people just kind of stay in their lane, and that's unfortunate. But I thought it was important to let people know I wasn't done yet, and I really wanted to do more to actually add value to who we are as a people. I think that's really vital. That is important to me. I've gotten sent home from jobs. For example, I wouldn't have been able to do Forrest Gump if I hadn't been fired off of a job.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't have been available. So I'm not afraid of being sent home. You know what I mean? That's why I try to keep my house clean, because, you know, might wind up right back there, you know. So, but, you know, I've been sent home a couple times, but it's okay. I just let the people know, listen, I love you. I'm not even upset.
No.
If you can't take you just can't take the truth, but I told you the truth because I love you, you know, and that's it.
Really? Look, you may have been sent home, but you've been hired a lot of times, and you've been hired to work alongside some really big marquee names. We have talked about Tom Hanks. We got to talk about Denzel Washington, Viola Davis, Leela Rashad, Whitney Houston, Angela Bassett. It just goes on and on and on. They love working with you, and they've enjoyed working alongside you, clearly, because in some cases you've had repeat experiences. Talk to me about what it is you think that you get from them and what they get from you.
The character actor's journey is to provide an emotional platform for the stars. And that's how I started, was giving them, inciting a performance in another actor. And over the years, there were shows I would go and guest star on, and you could tell you had intimidated the lead actor because they would change their performance and try to top you once the camera was on them. They wouldn't remain consistent. They wanted to outshine. But with Denzel, Angela Bassett, Tommy Hanks, Gary Sinise, Pacino, you know, and the list goes on and on. Viola, they're not afraid of anybody. And so you can bring your A game and they'll continue to live in that with you right there and not resort to trickery because they've been telling the truth the whole time they were standing across looking at, you know. And so I've just been blessed that the journey has gotten me there to that level that I'm widely respected by people that I respect. And so it really means a lot to me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sitting down with me today. Continued success.
Thank you. Likewise.